Hello, all you YouTubers. What's good? This is Dark Valentine 1984 coming right back at you. Basically, I'm coming in to at least keep my word on a little bit of something. As you all know, and you have seen from my blog, the second one that I've done, my grandfather, David Harris, unfortunately passed away on February 6, 2007. He passed away earlier this year. He was a real dear and good person of mine, good person that I've grown to know, and I really do thank him for all the support that he's given me. Even though I've played a lot of video games or whatnot, he's at least encouraged a lot of things in my life, and I can't find anyone else that could ever replace him like that. It's, in a sense, it's been a trying few months for me. I'm still doing my Mugen videos and basically everything else, but I did keep my promise, and I really do want to at least do a particular tribute for him. I've thought about the way I wanted to do this, and I've thought about the different Pac-Man games that he loved and all of the different variations and versions, but no game comes close to it than Pac-Attack. Now, Pac-Attack is a Tetris-based or Tetris clone, but mainly using Pac-Man. Now, this game is pretty fun once you can set up everything on the game now. So don't get me wrong, this is a real good game, but it really depends on how you want to play it. So let's first start off by getting things going with this game, shall we? Let's unpause the game and let's get things started. Now, as you see, you have normal mode, you have puzzle mode, and you have versus mode. Basically, we're going to go ahead and play normal mode. Now, normal mode is like you're playing Tetris. Basically, it's going to give you a good rundown of the different difficulties you want to choose. Now, normally, he was the type of person who actually can play, play the game on mainly normal or hard, and sometimes he would challenge himself on playing hyper. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to play a normal game, and I'm going to give you a rundown of how this game runs. So let's go ahead and select normal, and we start. As you see, the music is real nice, tight background, and as you notice that the pieces are like Tetris pieces, but they have ghosts, and basically depending on how you set them up. Now, after you've laid down 3 pieces, Pac-Man comes in, and he's like the Tasmanian devil, and he'll just go ahead and eat everything, no, stuff like that. So we just keep on going. Basically, it's the same thing over and over. I mean, nothing really changes in this game. The only thing you have to watch out for is that you may end up trapping yourself sometimes, and you have to go ahead and try to free the ghost any way you can. Now, unlike puzzle mode, in normal play, you cannot shift Pac-Man left or right before the piece actually falls. You have to actually go with what they give you, just praying that you can actually get it right. Now, just like Tetris, when you lock all solid pieces disappear, adds to your score. No harm there. Now, if you've noticed, on the left side of the screen, there's a little star meter. When that meter gets to the full, what will happen is a fairy, yeah, that's right, a fairy will come out of nowhere and immediately take out all ghosts that are on the screen. Instead of Pac-Man coming down, a fairy will come down instead. And it kind of makes the game a bit easier for you, and it also racks up your score real good. And as you notice, I've made it to level 12. Yes, it gets faster and faster. So if you just keep on going, it's really no big deal. I mean, it's a very simple game. Very simple game, easy to get used to. That's if you can stand tedious games like this. Over time, your level goes up, and you just have to go at whatever comes at you. Now, even after the piece is laid down, you have about, I'd say a good 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 of a second before the piece actually locks in place. So you have to do what you can before the piece locks. Basically, again, like a normal Tetris setup. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and be silent for a bit and go ahead and lock the pieces myself. As you can see, oh yeah, before I go silent, as you can see, as long as you're not really eating the ghost, they do have their own little animations. Basically the little sneezing, and everything else. Now, if they're in between two blocks, of course, yeah, of course they will fall, flat on their ass, but who really cares? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and be silent for a bit and just get my little star meter up so I can show you what happens when the star meter goes up. Basically, it's pretty much easy at this point. Alright, now here we go. Star meter is full. So on the next go around, the fairy comes down. No matter where you set the fairy at, it's going to cover the entire playing field and level out all ghosts in this area. Now, here's a bit of info to know. This option is actually useful for versus mode because of the simple fact that the fairy will actually knock out the ghost that's laying out on versus mode, and it'll be a lot more easier for you, and it'll again level the playing field. But take note that it does take a while, and it gets harder and harder to refill that meter as you go. Now, sometimes in one player normal mode, Pac-Man may face another direction since you can't really change him with the L and R trigger buttons, but that's okay. If you can work this game, you practically got it made. Now, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to game myself over here. Yeah, it's real easy to game yourself over if you think you've messed up by just pressing select and start, or whatever button you have set as select and start on your controller or keyboard there. And as you notice, unlike the other Pac-Man games, this have like more of a upbeatish type, beat as far as music goes. Now, we're going to go ahead back to it, and we're going to go to puzzle mode. Now, puzzle mode is very, very interesting because to me, the music may be repetitive, but it has the best music in the entire game besides the ending music. Now, after watching my grandfather play all levels from level 1 to level 100, yes, there are 100 levels in Pac-Attack, I believe, it's just an amazement to me how he could actually complete a stage within a given number of tries. And it just shocks me. On some stages you get one try, and you have to be real careful because you'll end up getting so pissed off and so mad trying to actually beat the stage. So we'll go ahead and press start. But if you know any passwords, then you can go ahead and use a password. It can be a random password or anything else, but the most obvious password to me is the password LST, which you can pretty much say is an abbreviation for last, which automatically brings you to the 100th level, as I'll show you here. Now, notice that they don't press start, or they don't let you start yet until you press a button. And normally, for each 10 stages that you pass, or so many number of stages, the background art in the middle changes as well. Basically, this is the last level. Then I'm looking at my pattern here to see how can I beat this without, putting it to where I'm trapped. So, this is what I'm going to try and do. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and see if I can beat this within 5 tries. I'm not always guaranteed to beat it because it really depends on what pieces are given to me. So I'm going to go ahead and be silent for a bit, and we're going to go ahead and do this. So let's do this. I practically messed myself up, so let's start over here. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a noobish move, but like I said, it depends on what pieces come down, but it also depends on where you stack those pieces. Stack the wrong piece, and the wrong piece will come down, eventually causing a game over. So let's go ahead and retry it one more time before I start from the beginning. Alright? I'm not going to play the entire 100 levels through. No, that will be real stupid. So we're just going to go ahead and play it just like this. Alright, so far, good setup. Yeah, I missed one ghost, but hey, no harm, no mess, no foul. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and work our way to getting those other ghosts out of there. I think my wisest move will be to actually try and get that bottom open as soon as possible, as quick as I can, and I failed again. And yes, this sucks ass to the no, I didn't. Well, now as you've heard it, I actually changed my position by actually pressing left or right trigger, but it'll only work for either one of those trigger buttons. I'm still being timed on how can I get off this level. At least depending on what piece I have coming down. I still have to play my cards right, because if I mess up here, then that's pretty much a wrap, and I got 2 more tries, or Pac-Man has 2 more tries before it's practically game over. And hate to say it, but I think I messed up. Yep, I did. Yeah, I messed up, so it doesn't matter what ghosts I get now. I'm going to end up using the last Pac-Man, and it's going to be eventual game over, as you'll see right now. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to end, and we'll go back to it. We'll go back to puzzle mode. We'll just start from the beginning. As they say, welcome to puzzle mode. You'll receive a limited number of packs to gobble all the ghosts on the screen. Before Pac-Man lands, you can change his directions to L, R, or X buttons. Can you smash through all 100 levels? That's the challenge that they put before you. But that's the challenge that my own grandfather, has actually beaten once before. I have too, but it was so long ago. Yeah, as you see, it's pretty much straightforward. Yes, I like the graphic art that they have back there. And also, I want to know, or at least tell you guys, that you can get things called good cards. Now, what they are is by actually getting all of the ghosts within a certain amount of tries. Basically, 1 try on certain stages. Good card is basically another way of saying you got a perfect. It's not going to really change the game in your favor any better. It's just, another grade. The first 10 stages are about easy, and then it gets more difficult after that. But I mean, it's really nothing to fret about. If you stack your pieces right, you can just about get them in one run. And as you can probably hear from the music, it actually has good music. Probably, if you can hear it. But if not, I'll just go ahead and switch the music on for a bit. Alright, now that you've heard a bit of the music, it gets a bit repetitive over time, so I'm going to go ahead and be silent for the next round or 2 and let you hear it for yourself. just got a an official royal screw over there, but I kind of screwed myself in the same process, so I'm not totally worrying about it. But as kiddie as this game is, and as it looks, it's still a pretty fun game the farther you get into it. Besides the actual versus mode, I believe that this is by far the best mode on the game, puzzle mode, because it's still having a challenge of Tetris, but with Pac-Man induced, tendencies. I know I still promised you guys a game of Miss Pac-Man, in which I'm not going to hold out on that at all. We're going to go ahead and at least switch to it, maybe after this round, but I'm highly considering not switching to it. I still prefer this game overall, and we're just going to go ahead and, end it. So, well, at least this is the first part of the tribute that at least I want to give to you guys. And I know I don't sound like I'm trying to say much, but as I play this game, I think about my grandfather a lot, and it kind of brings back a lot of memories of actually sitting there watching him play with my Super Nintendo joystick, and actually watching him play Pac-Man from beginning to end with no problem whatsoever. Not a single problem.